This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, high alert. Police continue to search Dartmouth for a man described as armed and dangerous.
New record. Nova Scotia sees its biggest jump in housing starts.
And cartoon Conrad. Meet the Nova Scotia man who built an animation oasis in his hometown.
A few showers in the mix overnight into early Wednesday. Then we'll see some sunshine breaking through with the winds slowly easing. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. We begin with an ongoing search for an armed and dangerous man in Dartmouth.
Yes, the search prompted an emergency alert and a call for the neighborhood to shelter in place earlier today. Police are looking for this man, 49-year-old David John Campbell. He's described as 6 feet tall and 170 pounds with an average build and tattoos on both arms. Officers were called to the Gaston Road area around 9:20 this morning, following reports Campbell had a firearm and was threatening people he knows.
Police say he fled the area on foot before they arrived. Police were focusing their search at a home on the road, but have since expanded it. Police are warning not to approach Campbell if you see him, but rather call 911. Well, there were some tense moments this morning at the provincial building in Sydney. A 52-year-old man was taken into custody after entering the facility with a knife. The CBC's Kyle Moore has the details.
Well, as you can see behind me here, all is calm right now outside the provincial building here on Prince Street in Sydney. A much different scene than just a couple of hours ago when police had to deal with a man inside with a weapon. The call came in just before 9 this morning. More than a dozen police and EHS vehicles were on scene as a man with a knife was inside. Police quickly evacuated the building, leaving several staff members who work in the building to wait in the parking lot. It took more than an hour for members of the emergency response team and crisis negotiators to get the man to surrender. Nobody was hurt, but many staff members we spoke to today were left shaken. Nova Scotia's Premier Tim Houston had this to say about the incident.
These are scary situations for sure. Imagine being in a building when you get a notice that you have to evacuate because of a dangerous situation. That's incredibly scary. So we feel that for sure, and I'm thankful that certainly the early reports are that everyone is safe.
Now, John Joseph Meade has been arrested and charged with possession of a weapon, uttering threats, among other charges. He has been remanded to the Cape Breton Correctional Centre. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
Nova Scotia has set a first quarter housing starts record. In the first 3 months of 2024, construction crews started work on more new housing units than during any other first quarter on record. Experts say this could mean government incentives are starting to work. Nicholas Sagan reports.
As cranes go up and new buildings come together, it's starting to make a difference. In the first 3 months of this year, construction began on more than 2,100 new homes across the province. The last record was just over 1,300 in the first quarter of 1973.
What we are seeing right now is a response to the explosive population growth that we've seen in Nova Scotia and generally in the Atlantic region.
Doro says with this growing population and one of the lowest vacancy rates in the country, ramping up residential construction is crucial to meeting the demand. He says most of the housing construction is apartments, with single-family homes lagging behind, often due to their prices.
Well, there's just a shift from single-family building just because affordability right now is a big concern. We saw sales drop for single-family homes in the last 2 years.
The construction is concentrated in Halifax, but Doro says Bridgewater and Truro are also seeing an increase. He says if this pace keeps up, around 8,500 new units will be started this year. Industry players say it's too early to know for sure if this will continue, but it's a good sign.
It's a culmination of changes to our way that we train people, the recruitment efforts we have, changes in permitting processes, changes in terms of funding from government to help stimulate some of the housing starts.
William says these changes have been a long time coming, but he's now seeing all levels of government work together to tackle the issue. Incentives like the removal of federal and provincial HST on multi-unit housing construction may be helping, but he wants to see more.
We don't always need new programs that have to be staffed up, ramped up, tested, corrected. What we need is scale back some of the costs that are associated with this.
Williams says labor and supply shortages and higher interest rates are still holding some developers back, and he wants to see that change. Nicola Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
A Nova Scotia judge has extended creditor protection for the Saltwire Group, the company that owns newspapers including the Halifax Herald and the Cape Breton Post. Saltwire's main lender forced the company into creditor protection because it owed more than $32 million. The company overseeing the creditor process says a number of potential buyers have expressed interest in buying all or part of the Saltwire Group. They have until May 24th to make serious bids. The matter returns to court at the end of June.
The Nova Scotia government has announced it will cover the initial operating costs for the new medical school at Cape Breton University. Premier Tim Houston says the province will provide nearly $12 million over 2 years to get the school up and running. The $59 million building is under construction now and is set to open in the fall of 2025. Houston also announced $1.5 million to add 5 seats at Dalhousie's medical school this fall.
That means 5 more future doctors who don't have to wait to start their studies. They'll begin that medical program this fall, and that is thanks to the partnership between CBU and Dalhousie. So that's a good thing.
Those 5 seats will bring the total to 30, aimed at graduating Cape Breton, Mi'kmaq, and African Nova Scotian doctors. Well, the Houston government is reviewing the long-standing requirement for motor vehicle inspections. The review follows a suggestion in February from the provincial NDP to extend the renewable period from every 2 years to every 5 years. As Preston Mulligan tells us, initial reactions to the review are mixed.
It's the law in Nova Scotia to have your vehicle inspected every 2 years. For an average car like this, it costs about $30.
I'm against it.
Most mechanics say eliminating motor vehicle inspection or even extending the renewal period could be dangerous.
Newer vehicles, the longevity of which are, they're going to last that long, that sort of stuff. But these used vehicles and that sort of stuff, a 2-year period, a lot can happen on our roads, right? We're out there hitting potholes. We've got the environment, we've got the salt, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it can lead to deterioration, no doubt about it.
Several other provinces have a 2-year renewal period, just like here, but Alberta and Quebec require no inspection at all unless you bought your vehicle out of province. It was the Nova Scotia NDP who suggested eliminating MVIs back in February.
I think the province is finally taking responsibility for the fact that there are a lot of levers on affordability that are in their hands.
Some mechanics say $30 every 2 years isn't a lot of money. The big expense is paying for whatever repairs you may have put off until you need that new sticker.
If you wait 5 years to get your car inspected, the amount of things that are going to need to be repaired at that time could be huge.
Some motorists in Halifax say they're more than happy to save the $30 every 2 years.
Once every 5 years is fine with me. That ensures that the cars are kept up to an adequate level of quality and mechanical repair.
I think the modern day vehicles just, they seem to hold up a lot better than they did, say, 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And it just seems like it would make a whole lot more sense if the inspection requirement was less frequent.
It's one thing if it's, out in a rural area working on a farm, and it's a lot different if it's, driving up and down Barrington Street or Wattatcha in downtown, or what have you in downtown Halifax. So.
The Houston government says it's getting lots of feedback on the topic, but no decision has been made yet. Preston Mulligan, CBC News, Halifax.
Halifax Fire is reminding people to burn safely and only during the times that are allowed. Crews have already responded to a number of brush fires, and they want people to be aware that burn restrictions are in place. During wildfire season, burning is not permitted anywhere in the province between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. And right now, burning is only allowed between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. throughout Nova Scotia. Halifax Fire's new wildfire mitigation manager says lighting fires outside of permitted times is a concern in Halifax, as well as what people are burning.
They're burning a mix of everything, so debris, garbage, construction material, brush, and those aren't allowed materials. We have a pretty healthy recycling program in Nova Scotia, so we prefer residents use that to get rid of their household waste. What is allowed is burning brush, but only during the burn restriction times. So you have to go on novascotia.ca burn safe or call their 1-800 number to get an idea of what time you're allowed to burn.
McCurdy has recently been hired by Halifax Fire to look at ways its wildfire response can be improved following last year's disaster. Well, when the weather starts to turn nice, people like to start burning things, it seems, in Nova Scotia.
And it's dry out there. It's hard to believe that it would be dry out there, but at least the surface, right?
Exactly. The wells, they're topped up, but it only takes a couple of days to dry things out at the surface, especially this time of year with so much dead grass. Things have yet to green up and really start to bloom. So, yeah, a reminder that we are in yellow here. That means burning is only allowed between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m., and so be safe, and we'll continue to update this because we will need to update it because really there's not a lot of moisture on the way in the next few days. Now, we do have some shower chances continuing and a very similar setup over the next few days to what we have right now. Look at the temps here in the east. 2 in Port Hawkesbury, 3 Pictou and Shetticamp, 4 in Antigonish and Canso, and then, yes, 14 down in Shelburne. And yeah, that's really been the hot spot today. There's been more sun in the southwest as well. The clouds have been dominant in through the east. That's where the strongest northwest winds have been as well. And again, a similar setup tomorrow thanks to this low, which is still spinning southeast of Newfoundland. We've got this low here to watch. That's going to be just edging into our region overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Couple of showers with that. Enough to dampen the ground, but again, nothing really substantial from that. Those shower chances move out. Tomorrow, very similar story. Some sun breaks in the west and southwest, clouds more capped in the northeast, cooler temperatures with that northerly flow, but we'll likely squeak into the low teens again and through the southwest, single digits once again in the northeast. Thursday, kind of a similar story, a late day shower chance in through the southwest, and then Friday, again, a lot of cloud, but not a lot of substantial moisture. We're going to kick the clouds out, which is good for the weekend. We'll get some sunshine soaked in and then some soaking rain, we hope, for early next week. Tom and Amy will talk about that with your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
We'll probably need it by then for sure. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
The Ontario government is introducing new measures to further crack down on cell phone use in schools as that province sees what it's calling an alarming rise in cell phone distractions in classrooms. Here in Nova Scotia, the Associate Director of Education Policy for the Fraser Institute is calling for a full-out ban of cell phones in schools in this province.
This is a politically tough policy in some ways, but in other ways, we know that it's popular. There was a January poll from this year by Narrative Research showing that 8 in 10 parents in Canada wanted or would support removing smartphones from classrooms because they recognize that it's a distraction in student learning. So I think there actually is a fairly broad consensus around this issue. The government really just needs to have the boldness to put those policies in place.
I'll talk to Paige McPherson of the Fraser Institute about banning cell phones in the classroom. That's our Newsmaker interview just after 6:30.
Mike Duhaime is the new head of the RCMP after filling in the role on an interim basis for the past year. Duhaime was named interim commissioner in March of 2023 following the retirement of Brenda Lucky. He was the face of the RCMP during the Mass Casualty Commission. Last month, the police force released its report on its response to the inquiry's recommendations. The report found the RCMP missed warning signs about the killer, including reports of domestic violence. Duhaime said during the report's release that he can understand why Canadians remain skeptical about the RCMP's commitment to change. Well, an animator from Beaverbank has built a thriving studio.
The founder of Cartoon Conrad didn't want to leave his hometown, so he built the studio on a 16-hectare farm. Have a look.
The best part of the studio is right here. And there you have it. You're in the boardroom for the next meeting.
Yeah, we're known as the Reality Rejects. Growing up here, this is a bit of a dream. I always wanted to create art in my own community. My name's Luke Conrad, and the studio's name is Cartoon Conrad, and we've been around for 21 years, actually. From a very young age, I knew I wanted to do cartoons, and that kind of led me down a path to this wonderful world of animation. So when my wife and I first got married, we were planning on going to Burbank, Los Angeles, because we thought we had to. Well, she thought, well, can we try it here for a year? And I was like, okay, let's try it here for a year. And if it works, we'll stay if we can survive. And it worked. I'm so thankful that we were able to not just stay close to family and community, but we're able to work on some really cool projects and bring them into the community. Right now, we're working a show with Nacelle and Dwayne Johnson. We've done development for people like Will Smith. We've done Coolapari. We worked on brands like Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, many Woody Woodpecker, many projects over the years. Cool little spots in the building as well, but don't tell anyone. We purchased this building in 2012. And when we purchased the property, it was actually abandoned. And so we had, except for there were some raccoons that lived in the building. And after wrestling with them for about 6 months, we were able to come in and start the studio. What happens is we take the script and then we extrapolate from the script itself and create storyboards to kind of show the action, the movement.
My name is Reed Morrison. I'm an editor here on RoboForce at Cartoon Conrad. It's a reboot of an older property. It was a toy property that sort of fell by the wayside right around when like Transformers came out, and now they have an opportunity to kind of step in and save the day a little bit.
We'll give you the lot. We'll show you the lot. The farmhouse that creates animation in the middle of the woods on the east coast of Canada. There's something romantic about that for LA, and so that unknowingly people remember us because of that. And we have like deer and owls and ducks walking around.
Turtles, a lot of snapping turtles in the spring.
Yeah, we're probably the only studio that puts out a warning to not pat the turtles.
And you may have noticed the upside down airplane over in the field. That was a Kijiji find. That was going to be just like a studio prop.
Storm came through and off it went. First, I was a little concerned because I didn't know, are people going to come out? Are people going to be here? Is this going to be difficult? Like a lot of people lived in Dartmouth, and it was faster for them to drive out here than it was to go from Dartmouth to Halifax.
As the studio grew, we had to get more spaces to put them, so we bought different properties that are adjoining the original farm lot. But also, we didn't want to just be a studio that's buying up land. We wanted to give back to the community. So there's a little red apple in the woods that is actually a library, and the little kids from the daycares come through and they take books out and put books back. Yeah. And so we really wanted to be a place that the community feels like it's an asset to the community.
I actually have a really good quote that Luke gave me. He said, whenever you turn something ordinary into extraordinary, there is always a story behind it. I've been in a bunch of different professions, and this is my forever home. I've been here, like I said, 7 years, and something about just that completely encompasses how he feels about his crew and his business, turning ordinary things into extraordinary things.
The property looks like an amazing place to work, doesn't it?
They're having fun.
Yeah, well done.
You just slide into the newsroom.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Right down the pole. First quick break on the way. Stay with us.
There is a lot more to come on CBC Nova Scotia News. University student protests are spreading in Canada and across the U.S. over the conflict between Israel and Hamas.
King Charles makes his first official appearance after taking 3 months off to deal with an undisclosed type of cancer.
And there's a peek at Halifax Harbour on this Tuesday evening. Ryan is back next with his full weather forecast. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
All right, it's always a fun day around here when Ryan gets to go back to school.
Back to
and
school,
visit
biggest kid
some
in
of the
class.
students
That's right.
and talk weather.
My lunchbox, my backpack, and in I saunter.
It fits right in.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, I love the ones like today where they get all of the grade 5s in one room and we just chat about the weather. We had the projector on the wall, so I was able to show them some things, which is great. And they were really enthusiastic and they paid attention the whole time.
Good
it was
questions.
Great questions, yeah. Really great group. And this was actually the last group of the school year. So
they look pretty happy.
Yeah.
yeah, so Sackville Heights Elementary, the grade 5s there. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks to all of the grade 5 classes and a couple of grade 1s and 2 classes this year as well. But hundreds of kids visited through this school year, virtually and in person as well, which is great because virtually, obviously, we did Cape Breton schools in the Valley, and it was nice to get around a little bit as well. So thanks to everybody, and looking forward to next year already. Now, as we look at our webcam shot, this from Parsboro, and not a bad evening there right now. 9 degrees, some sun, some cloud. Yeah, looking pretty nice indeed. Now that wind has been, again, a little on the persistent side, especially for Cape Breton and that Northumberland shore. Note, the warmest temps in through the southwest. Note Ingonish Beach, though, a nice downsloping wind coming off the Cape Breton Highlands there, and as a result, temperatures certainly more mild there. 8 now at Ingonish, and still 14 in Shelburne. 5, 6, 7 degrees in the Halifax area at last check. Sustained winds, and you can see where they're definitely stronger here in the east, backing off into the west. This is where we're more gusty as well. Some gusts in the 50, 60 kilometer per hour range of coastal areas this afternoon. Those winds will be persistent, as we said, but easing a little bit as we move into tomorrow. There's the next low we're going to be watching. So I guess first things first, this low still, we're going to be under the influence of it as it continues to spin to the south and east of Newfoundland. What we're going to be watching for tonight into tomorrow is this weak low, which is going to move in. And you can see these showers already creeping into Maine. Those are going to clip southwestern Nova Scotia, possibly up as far north as Halifax. And so those will be a risk overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Let's have a quick look at Canada. And you can see the hot air creeping up all the way as far north as Minneapolis and Chicago, Toronto at 15. Yet snow today in Alberta. So some clashing air masses here with that system that will work its way to the east slowly but surely in the coming days. Okay, so for tonight, temperatures are going to be ranging from 2 to 4, 5 degrees. Those winds will become light in the west, remaining kind of steady from the north, 20 to 30, gusts 40 to 50 in the east overnight tonight. And you can see those clouds are going to remain pretty capped. There are those shower chances edging into western areas overnight into tomorrow morning. There's 6 a.m., still hanging on to a shower risk for most of central and western parts of the province, but the best chances, as we said, are going to be in the southwest. That moves out, and then tomorrow, what we're going to be seeing is, the sun breaking through much like it did today for the western parts of the province, edging into the Halifax area. Clouds looking pretty capped here across Cape Breton and the northeast tomorrow, though I do think we'll see some breaks of sun. No, temperatures, again, with that northwest flow, will be mildest in Ganesh down into the Bredor Lakes area and through Richmond County. That's our best chance of cracking double digits. And then we'll move our way further along the eastern shore into the double digits here. Cooler air, water temperatures near 6, onshore wind, temperatures near 6. 8 degrees, Tatamagouche, New Glasgow into Antigonish County as well. We are looking at Parsboro near 13 tomorrow. Will be 13, 14 through the valley, likely 15, 16 through here. And again, because the winds are going to be light and variable, not as strong as they are today, a bit of an onshore wind for places like Shelburne, that may hurt your temperature just a little bit. If you're right along the coast, you'll likely feel that sea breeze. Thursday, we are looking at, again, northerly flow, cooler in the east, cloudier in the east, and that better chance for some showers. Looking at an isolated risk of a shower for late Thursday in through the southwest as well. This is, again, the setup, some sun breaks here. And then note, late day chance for some showers, more so for Thursday night from that little wave coming through. But really, we're kind of locked into this very similar pattern. Cooler in the east, milder in the southwest. High pressure kind of comes right overhead and gives us a clearer sky for Saturday into Sunday. Temperatures should bump up for Sunday. And then that next chance of substantial showers that we want to keep things greening up and keep that wild grass fire risk at bay, that looking still set for Monday, Tom and Amy.
All right, we'll be ready for it.
I guess so.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Pet owners from all over the Maritimes rely on the Atlantic Veterinary College in Charlottetown, and there are big changes coming to the facility.
Phase 2 of its multi-year expansion project is now underway. CBC News stopped by to take a look at the work and hear about how the project will transform the space in the years ahead.
I've learned lots in my last 4 years. It's pretty cool being a student here at ABC. We get to learn from world-class professors. We have a pretty cool facility here.
So students are enmeshed in this entire process. They're part of the triaging team. They'll come back and they'll let me know what they think is going on, and they'll be part of that team that helps come up with the treatment plan. And so the students truly have this overarching responsibility in every little bit, and we as the doctors there to make sure that they're able to do that appropriately and that they're learning every step of the way that they can.
We are very proud and excited to announce the launch of our campaign that will be dedicated to expanding our teaching hospital. This is the location of our Phase 2 expansion that will see a 2-story building. The ground floor will be dedicated to consultation rooms and access to our MRI unit, and the top floor will be dedicated to new educational space. Well, the main purpose of Phase 1 was really to update our diagnostic imaging services with new equipment and new technology.
We were actually the first year to get to use the MRI, which was extremely cool. Being able to have that diagnostic tool for certain cases is extremely invaluable for both like research purposes and also for like patient purposes.
Our reception area will be moving off to the side to be more in the forefront and offer a warm welcome to our patients and their owners.
These spaces are in constant use. They're one of the most ubiquitous things in veterinary medicine, the consult room with the table and the supplies ready. And so this is where, when you come to the clinic, you might find yourself spending the most amount of time in.
And I understand ADC is moving towards Phase 2, which would see these spaces expanded.
That would be huge in multiple different ways. Having access to more space, especially for our bigger patients, being able to do exams in a really spacious, open, not claustrophobic environment. Having access to even more exam rooms as our emergency service continues to grow, making sure that I'm not taking space away from community practice or medicine, cardiology, surgery. We all share the space.
So we're really in the phase of recruiting support to make that expansion possible. We have a goal of raising $6 million within the next 12 months, and we already have a little bit over $1 million secured, so we really need more support from the community and everyone involved to help us achieve that vision.
I think for me, another aspect besides the passion for the animals, obviously, is the ability to kind of integrate my love for animals and my love for science into the same kind of profession. I get to do those two really awesome things all the time, every day.
And up next, I'll talk with Paige McPherson of the Fraser Institute. She's calling for a ban on cell phone use in classrooms in Nova Scotia. That's our Newsmaker interview.
Please stay with us. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News.
The Ontario government is introducing new measures to crack down on cell phone use in schools as that province sees, quote, an alarming rise in cell phone distractions in classrooms. To date, the Nova Scotia government has resisted such restrictions. Paige McPherson is with the Fraser Institute, a think tank that has spent some time looking at the research into the effects of cell phones in the classroom. Thanks for coming in to talk to us about this.
Thanks so much for having me.
First of all, what do you think about what Ontario is doing?
Well, I think it's a really positive thing when we see provincial governments wanting to take concrete steps forward in eliminating digital distractions for kids in classrooms. But I would say that, when I've reviewed the Ontario policy, they initially had a policy back in 2019. The goal with this policy is to strengthen it. I would say it doesn't really take those steps forward quite enough. The policy doesn't really have enough teeth. It leaves things widely up to the discretion of individual teachers, which is more or less what the policy is now, leaving it up to school boards. I would say that really if the government wants to eliminate these distractions for kids, which we know are very harmful for student learning, they need to give the policy as much teeth, empower teachers and administrators in schools to really take the devices out of kids' hands.
I know that in Ontario, also in recent weeks for sure, but for some time they've been talking about the connection between the device, the cell phones in particular, and math scores, for example, or basic learning to begin with. What are you seeing in some of that research?
Yeah, so there's really interesting research that has come from the Program for International Student Assessment, which is a widely respected international student test of 15-year-olds. And Canada is one of the countries that participates. It's OECD countries. It's widely referred to as PISA. So the Insights report from the most recent round of PISA data, which is 2022 data, showed a really close connection between a decrease in math scores and actually having smartphones in classrooms. What's interesting from the research is that it is worse if a child has their own digital device or smartphone, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Just having the presence of a digital device in the classroom, so if the child sitting next to you, for example, has a smartphone, that can be just as distracting. Students report high levels of distraction in both cases, and the PISA data was actually able to tie that to a concrete reduction in student math performance.
And that connection, you're seeing that in Nova Scotia as well, on some of those numbers, aren't you?
Well, I would say that the Nova Scotia results are pretty concerning when it comes to the PISA math test scores. So from 2003 to 2022, so about 2 decades, Nova Scotia students have actually fallen about 2.25 years behind in math. So in other words, math students who were 15 years old in Nova Scotia in 2003 were over 2 years ahead in terms of their math understanding and competency than what those 15-year-olds are in Nova Scotia now. So having smartphones that are distracting, that we have this concrete evidence to show actually can lead to a reduction in math scores because it's so distracting, is doing Nova Scotia students no favors.
But they're also teaching devices and learning devices as well. I mean, is it partly that they need to be incorporated differently into the learning model?
Well, I think that there are ways to incorporate technology and the advancements in technology into classrooms and schools, and we certainly see that in Nova Scotia and really in provinces across Canada. The question is, can students have their own personal digital device on them that's going to be buzzing in their pocket all day? The Ontario policy, the new one, basically says that phones need to be on silent and they need to be out of sight. But there's good research, and there's a new book by Jonathan Haidt who highlights some of the research that was published in 2017 in the University of Chicago Press, showing that just having a smartphone on you, you don't have to be looking at it, it actually reduces your cognitive abilities. So in other words, it's going to have an impact on learning. So we need to make sure they're completely out of the picture, not just in your pocket on silent.
So we talked about restricting use of them in Nova Scotia classrooms, maybe even banning them over the years, but it's never come to fruition. That's never happened. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that, the government needs to be bold in enacting these policies. It's not going to be popular with every educational stakeholder, with every teacher who's going to need to enforce it, with every parent. There are parents who want to be in touch with their kids all day. We all know that this is a reality. So this is a politically tough policy in some ways, but in other ways, we know that it's popular. There was a January poll from this year by Narrative Research showing that 8 in 10 parents in Canada wanted or would support removing smartphones from classrooms because they recognize that it's a distraction in student learning. So I think there actually is a fairly broad consensus around this issue. The government really just needs to have the boldness to put those policies in place.
Ontario most recently has looked at this and is making changes. Other provinces have already done that. Is Nova Scotia behind the times on this, or how would you characterize that?
Yeah, there are other provinces that are moving forward in other parts of the country, certainly on this. Nova Scotia, I would say, is a little bit behind the times. One way that we have a luxury here is that we can see the 2019 policy in Ontario, widely considered ineffective. Teachers said they just really had no power to enforce it. We can learn from those mistakes, and we can use that to develop a really strong policy that's going to enable teachers and administrators to actually enforce these policies and give students the freedom to learn in a distraction-free environment.
All right, Paige McPherson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming up, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is kicked out of the House of Commons after a tense question period exchange.
Conservative opposition leader Pierre Poilievre has been expelled from the House of Commons. It's rare for a speaker to take such a measure.
Greg Fergus accused him of unparliamentary language. Poilievre refused to withdraw. Rafi Boudjikanian recounts on the remarkable day on Parliament Hill.
Will the Prime Minister accept the BC NDP's demand?
It started with a heated debate on policy, the Conservatives pushing the federal Liberal government to cancel a drug decriminalization pilot project in BC, one the province says no longer works. The feds have been saying that program is under review.
What hasn't been answered by the Leader of the Opposition is why he chooses to continue to court extreme right nationalist groups.
Last week, Pierre Poilievre stopped at a roadside in New Brunswick to meet this group. His party says they understood it to be a carbon tax protest camp, but it had at least one logo linked to a far-right militia.
I always condemn extremism and racism, including from the guy who spent the first half of his adult life as a practicing racist.
That got the speaker issuing this warning.
And I'm going to ask all members to control themselves.
Something immediately challenged by Conservative Rachel Thomas, the first MP Greg Fergus tossed from the House of Commons after she refused to withdraw her remarks. Next came this.
But he continues to allow those drugs to kill the people in our hospitals and on our public transit. When will we put an end to this wacko policy by this wacko Prime Minister?
I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to withdraw that term, which is not considered parliamentary.
But Poilievre refused, earning the second forced expulsion of the day for his party.
Mr. Poilievre, I have to name you for disregarding the authority of the chair. Pursuant to the authority granted to me by Standing Order 11, I order you to withdraw from the House.
The Liberals immediately seizing on the event.
It is no surprise that now all jacked up on this very extreme rhetoric, the House of Commons turns into something quite unprecedented.
Poilievre's entire caucus withdrew from the Commons by the end of question period. His expulsion is only for today. He could be back by tomorrow if he so chooses. In the meantime, in a post on social media, he says he's been censored by the Liberal House Speaker. Rafi Boudjikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
A judge in Montreal has been hearing arguments for an injunction against pro-Palestinian demonstrators at McGill University. 2 students want 5 groups prevented from taking protest actions within 100 meters of schools' buildings. The protesters set up an encampment at the university 4 days ago. They're demanding the school divest from companies with business interests in Israel. McGill has asked police to intervene, but so far, officers have not been deployed. The department says no crime is being committed, but it will enforce an injunction that orders the protesters to leave if necessary.
Meanwhile, protests against Israel's actions in Gaza in its war with Hamas continue at universities across the U.S. The epicenter is Columbia University in New York, where students have barricaded themselves inside a building. As the CBC's Chris Reyes reports, they are now facing being kicked out of school for good.
Barricades are blocking almost every entrance of Columbia University, including this one, the main gate. You can see it's wrapped in chains. This is a school on lockdown. Only essential staff are being allowed inside, as well as some students who have dorms on campus. This is the latest reaction from university officials after protesters took over Hamilton Hall overnight, hanging up a banner in honor of Hin Rajab, a 6-year-old Palestinian killed in Gaza. Officials say those students face expulsion, while the student protesters who have refused to leave the encampment that's now going into its 2nd week are being suspended. The pro-Palestinian organizers have demanded that Columbia divest from Israel, cutting all financial and academic ties with any business that's linked to it.
And we invite any community members that want to come to support these students, to defend their right to protest, and to make it clear to the university that we do not want cops on our campus, we do not want cops mobilized against our students, and we want to end the university's complicity in genocide immediately.
Columbia University has rejected any demands to divest from Israel. In a statement, officials said disruptions on campus have created a threatening environment for many of our Jewish students and faculty, and a noisy distraction that interferes with teaching, learning, and preparing for final exams. Outside the school, a group of protesters have also gathered in solidarity with students. We asked one of the demonstrators about their message.
From the beginning, all we've seen is the Columbia University administration answer or respond to the students with violence, with threats. They've called the police on them. They have threatened to bring in the National Guard. They have threatened so many things. And honestly, at this point, the students have been left with no other option but to continue with their encampment, as there's no good faith negotiations that is possible right now.
On the issue of bringing in police to force students off campus, New York's mayor had this to say.
When they ask us, we're going to carry out the necessary exercises to do it with a minimum amount of force to not in any way harm faculty, students, or the law enforcement personnel.
Left in limbo as this stalemate continues, some 15,000 students who are getting ready to graduate. It's currently reading week at Columbia. Next week, finals. The following week, commencement. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Hopes for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war are growing. Egypt has renewed its push to revive stalled negotiations. However, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is vowing to go ahead with a military operation in Rafah. In a statement, Netanyahu said Israel intends to destroy Hamas battalions in the city. He said stopping the war before it achieved all of its objectives is out of the question. A deal is in the works that would see a limited pause in fighting and an exchange of 33 Israeli hostages for a large number of Palestinian prisoners. At the same time, Israel hit targets in northern Gaza as airdrops of aid continued in the area.
A man in London, England, attacked several people with a sword early this morning, killing a 14-year-old boy and injuring 4 other people, including 2 officers. Police say a suspect has been arrested.
A 36-year-old is currently in custody. He was tasered here at the scene and arrested 22 minutes after the first call was made to police shortly before 7 a.m. this morning.
That original call was for a vehicle that had been driven into a house. Police say the suspect is in hospital and they haven't been able to speak to him. They do not believe the incident is terror-related. The 4 victims are also in hospital but are not thought to have life-threatening injuries.
King Charles returned to public duties today for the first time since it was announced he has cancer. He and Queen Camilla visited a cancer treatment center. The CBC's Briar Stewart has more on the King's engagement and the reaction from the public.
A crowd awaited the King's arrival outside of a hospital in central London, and so did a few curious onlookers working and living nearby. This was King Charles's official return to public duties since the palace announced he was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February. He appeared to reply that he was feeling not too bad. Inside, he was greeted by a large cheer, then given a quick tour by doctors who explained how they screen patients for cancer.
And the more cancers we diagnose earlier, the more patients we can cure.
He and Queen Camilla spent most of their time meeting with cancer patients, talking to them about their illnesses and the care they're receiving.
He's been campaigning for many years, been working with cancer charities for many years, been making appearances like this, but this has a sort of different feel now because he's coming to this as someone who really understands this from a personal perspective.
Outside of the hospital, well-wishers were happy to see him out and seemingly in good spirits.
I mean, it's good to see that he's able to get back to work and feeling better and able to do so.
I think it's a good thing that he's sharing his journey with us as well, because a lot of people will be concerned about him.
And there's also lingering concern about the Princess of Wales.
And cancer had been present.
Who announced last month that she was undergoing preventative chemotherapy following a major abdominal surgery in January. It's uncertain when she will be healthy enough to resume public duties and how full the King's schedule will be going forward.
Cancer treatment is often tiring and fatiguing, and it's really important for his sake that he's given good advice on how he paces his return, how he paces his work commitments.
The palace says it's not clear how much longer Charles will undergo cancer treatment and that any public engagements will be subject to his doctor's advice. Briar Stewart, CBC News, London.
Canada's main stock index lost almost 300 points today in a broad-based decline. The U.S. markets also slid ahead of the central bank's upcoming interest rate decision. Here's a look at the numbers. Too early to talk about the weekend, but let's talk about the weekend. It still looks good, doesn't it?
I know. Sunshine both days again.
Yeah, for sure. And so we're
Buy a
talking
lotto
about
ticket.
what we might accomplish this weekend. Tom's talking about coming over and pressure washing our houses.
Yeah, I know.
Did he
Oh,
commit
no,
to
I
it?
actually,
I did
wrong
ask.
weekend. I'm not busy.
Too bad. Too bad. Yeah, listen, it is looking to be great again, which is hard to believe. We couldn't thread the needle to get one, then we couldn't get two, and now we're looking at maybe back-to-back weekends. Have a look at our viewer picture of the day, and this is a beautiful one from a beautiful spot. Yes, just east of Halifax, Lower East Chesapeake, and look at this.
Oh, wow. What a sky.
That is orange,
reflected on the water, too. Nice.
Fisherman's Beach, beautiful shot here. Thanks to Barry Stevens for sharing Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Fisherman's Beach, slight risk of a shower for tomorrow, primarily in the morning. And that is, again, when we're going to be watching that next little weather system clipping in just to our south. In the northeast tomorrow, it's a chance for some isolated showers into the morning and afternoon. We are looking at another chance for that once again on Thursday. And again, really variable temperatures. Temperatures half of what they will be in the northeast to what they'll be in the southwest. And it's all thanks to that low spinning off to our east. And there's that little wave that'll clip through tonight into tomorrow morning. That moves out. A quieter afternoon. The western half of the province will get into a pretty nice stretch of sun and cloud. Eastern areas will see some sun breaks, but the clouds will certainly dominate. Kind of a similar story on Thursday and kind of a similar story on Friday, although Friday it looks like more widespread, cooler and cloudier temperatures overall. But I think the shower chances will be a little bit less, and then we're going to clear out for Saturday, Sunday, and keeping our fingers crossed for those showers to be substantial on Monday.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Well, a British auction house has two very special items for sale over the weekend.
They were from one of the world's most compelling disasters, the sinking of the Titanic.
The items on auction belong to two of the most famous people who died on the ship when an iceberg sent her to the ocean floor.
One was John Jacob Astor, the richest man on board. A gold pocket watch was recovered from his body. His son had it restored and eventually gave it away as a christening gift.
The other was Wallace Hartley, Titanic's orchestra leader, just 33 years old, being auctioned his violin bag.
Pieces of history there.
Yeah. Sure are. That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.